Still, saving guts one at a time and maybe the whole world because, strong gut equals strong you equals strong world. I love that. Anyway, I'm going to talk to you today about my topic, which is peace is always a breath away. And I'm going to talk to you about mindfulness and my personal story about mindfulness. I don't know why my nose is always itching when I start talking. Anyway, something to look into and research. Anyway, okay. So I've always been a hypersensitive person, and I was an artist when I was a teenager, and I later on became an actor. And I worked with Lee Strasberg, and I actually worked for Lee Strasberg. I ran a school here in LA for a while. It was quite an interesting chapter of my life that people think is so interesting. And I just been there, done that, and no. But basically, here's what ended up happening. When I was, and in method acting, Strasberg was the founder of method acting. And method acting uses yourself as a way to connect with the material. You use yourself instead of other acting forms use as ifs or personalizations or what if I was in this situation, how would I behave? No, method acting uses you. So we're taking your experiences, your sensory connections to the world, what you hear, what you see, what you smell, what you taste, what you touch. And I use that a lot in my mindfulness activities. I use it a lot in what I call guided imagery, which I'll do in a whole nother live stream. And actually, I don't just call it that. A lot of other people do too, and it's an amazing tool. But let me focus on mindfulness and my story. So basically, when I was doing all of this work with myself and connecting with myself and putting it into practice, working on plays and musicals, because I did musicals, I'm also a singer, not a dancer. I started getting very, very emotionally upset a lot. Emotionally upset a lot, and I had panic attacks, and I've had them even before I I started acting because I am a hypersensitive individual, and they actually have defined that, and I meet all the criteria. So anyway, yes, I had a panic attack in group therapy once, years and years and years ago. Freaked everybody out, including my husband, and basically, therapists thought I was on drugs. No, I had a panic attack. It was so bad that I ended up at UCLA emergency and then finally came out of it cursing people. And I should have known because that does not bode well for later life when you're trying to strip away all of what you learned throughout your life to connect with a character in a very sensitive way. So I started having really, really, really bad panic attacks when I was acting and when I was training. They were so bad sometimes I'd be down on the floor, hyperventilating. People would get so freaked out. I did end up in the emergency room a couple of times from that, and realized that I really needed to do something about it. And I don't know how. Well, I was doing a lot of spiritual work, and I was doing a lot of breathing, and I was doing a lot of Kundalini yoga and yoga, and also breathing in my acting training. So I decided to give it a try. I decided to give it a try, and I I happened on a way of life really that's totally not only changed my life, but has been with me for, oh gosh, I was acting in my 20s and 30s. Now I'm 78, so a long time, obviously. And what I started to do was when I would get this, um, when I start to feel that, when panic attacks, you always feel a trigger. You always feel a trigger that you're going to have a bad moment or hour or day or whatever. You start to feel a trigger. And then when I would do that, I would start to breathe. And so I would breathe, and I would also tell myself to breathe. I'd end up in my car going, breathe, Jill, breathe. It was so very interesting to me because it really helped me so much that I ended up um, becoming a teacher of mindfulness. No, I've never taken well, I have taken courses, but I also have instinctively learned how to do this practice. And it's a really ancient Buddhist practice. The whole idea of mindfulness is to really get to a place where you notice everything. That's why it's called mindfulness, where you notice the trees, where you notice the birds, where you notice the flowers, where you notice what the textures of your next meal, where you notice how you feel at this very moment. Noticing is wonderful to really get you healed from a lot of things, but you got to do it. You got to do the practice. And the first thing that I learned about mindfulness from my panic attack days is that if I breathed in and breathed out, even just a few times, that I would be a lot calmer than I was before this panic attack trigger started to close in on me. So, I believe that breathing is like the cornerstone of mindfulness. I mean, if you learn how to breathe and you keep breathing every time something comes up for you, then your life will be so much richer and so much easier. And you won't go off the deep end at all. I mean, I never go off the deep end at all. And really, it's so very interesting. Okay, let me back up and kind of explain what happens. And it's even more relevant these days because we're so in fight or flight. Okay, we're so in fight or flight all the time. And what is fight or flight? Okay, back up. We have a parasympathetic nervous system and a sympathetic nervous system. Okay. And I keep getting them mixed up, but I think I'm okay now with it. Okay. Your sympathetic nervous system is and I know it sounds like it should be opposite, is your fight or flight mechanism. Okay. Way back in the day of cavemen, right? Cavemen would get into a fight or flight when they were running from something, or they were running from the saber-toothed tiger, or they were killing the woolly mammoth or whatever, or there was threats from the alternate community or whatever. Then you'd go into fight or flight mode. It is really what it is. It's our way to protect ourselves from things that may happen to us. It's our survival. Okay. Which is all well and good, because if you're a caveman, when you're running from the saber-toothed tiger, eventually you would either get eaten or you'd find, protection in a cave, and the threat would pass, and you would go back to the what I call rest, relax, and digest, which is your which is, I'm sorry, your parasympathetic nervous system. Okay, so you've got two. You've got the fight or flight, and you've got the rest and relax and digest. Okay, all right. This is very important in digestion because when you're in fight or flight, you can't digest because all of your energy is diverted to your limbs to run away. That's how we're wired. And I got to tell you that we basically are in fight or flight in our modern day craziness, chaos, and everything else we're dealing with. In our modern day, and the toxins from the environment and bad food, and you name it, in our modern day world, we're dealing with fight or flight most of the time. So your digestion goes kaflooey, and your whole fight or flight gets worn out. You're getting worn out not only from inflammation, but from the whole fight or flight just keeps going, right? Getting into your rest, relax, and digest place is actually easy. It takes 3 breaths. And I want you to do that with me. So, what I would like you to do right now, and you can do this anywhere, which is great because I've gotten to a place where I've practiced mindfulness so long that my body actually goes automatically into deep breathing when I have an issue. It's so wonderful. So, feet flat on the floor if you're sitting. If not, just uncross your legs so the energy can flow. Okay. And just breathe with me a little bit. Okay. So you want to breathe in very slowly, all the way in. And you want to breathe out very slowly, all the way out. Usually, when I'm working with people, I ask them to just notice their breath. But let's try this. Okay. So just relax, legs and arms uncrossed, and just breathe in, just and breathe out. Breathe in and breathe out. And I prefer through your nose. So let's do one more. If you can't breathe in and out through your nose, I get it. So just do it. Breathe in as much as you can through your nose, and breathe out as much as you can through your nose. Okay. Breathe in and breathe out. And if you don't feel better right now, then you're not breathing in and out. Okay. First of all, here's the first thing I would do. I would if you're standing on, a long line, or you're waiting for something, or you're in your car, or wherever you're at, just take a moment and notice your breathing. You're breathing in and out, just breathing in and out. Don't change it in any way. Just notice your breathing and continue that as long as you like. Okay. That's the first step. Second step is what I just taught you about, the 3 deep breaths. Um, anytime that you feel stressed or overwhelmed, please do that. Okay, and also I have a whole slew of audios that you can download. I've downloaded them on my phone to use myself, but I've recorded them and I'm doing it every week. And I just started. I have 3 up now in the Back to Basics category. So go to this address that's below on the screen, healyourhealthnow.com/mindful. Again, healyourhealthnow.com/mindful. And they're all there. When I started doing this, I started doing a lot of things for the holidays and for New Year's and stuff. And now we're back to basics. So feel free to download them, listen to them. Music is coming soon, and reels of this are coming soon. So I'd really love it if you could do that for yourself. Do it for yourself. Breathing is powerful. Trust me on that. Okay, good queen. Signing off for today. If I've got some time tomorrow, I am going to do um, an expose on Ozempic, because more and more and more when I read about it, ain't a good thing to do. And I'll share with you some of my experience about weight loss drugs and how they invariably don't work. All right. So, signing off, Could Get Queen Jill, signing off. Remember, strong gut equals strong you equals strong world.